Buenos dias, amigos, amigas, from a suburb of Detroit up here in Michigan, in the basement of my home. I'll be back soon. I want to talk a little bit about travel in Mexico, particularly Guadalajara, the airport, the surrounding cities outside of Guadalajara, and talk about how one can get around much easier. And that's by learning a few key words and phrases. You don't have to know Spanish or Spanish perfectly. Just learn a few key phrases to help you get around, and you can do that. Because when you get to Guadalajara, it's not like Ajijic. You're going to have a lot less people speaking English. So I'll tell you more about that. Now, I want to mention, although I have taken 4 classes at San Miguel de Allende at the Biblioteca in Spanish, I gradually started learning Spanish a little bit when I was using the Mexico City airport. But we're going to talk about Guadalajara in the 5 years. And oh, by the way, 5 years this month, traveling back and forth to Mexico and living in Mexico, but 3.5 years in the lakeside area. Okay, I'm going to say, if you're at the airport, you're going to ask directions, and you might ask them which way to go. So you're going to want to know different things. Like, well, I'll tell you, the first thing I ever learned to ask is "Donde es baño?" Where is the bathroom? When I got off the plane. But also important things are like, do you want to go right? Do you want to go to the left? Which way? Do you go straight ahead? That'll save you time. It'll save you time at the airport and make your travel more comfortable. Even going in taxis, like what I learned is how to tell a taxi driver. Not all of them speak English. Which way to go? Like I would tell them, derecho, that means straight ahead. Derecha means to the right. Izquierda means to the left, okay? Just learning key phrases, and those are just an example of many that I know and have learned in the course of traveling back and forth and living in Mexico. So you can get around pretty well and also make friends. I'll tell you what really helped me going on the railway system, and I put up videos on the railway system, tour buses, different travel, direct buses going back and forth to Guadalajara, in Guadalajara, and some of the surrounding cities. One thing I learned when I first time going to Guadalajara for a visit, I met a lady in Ajijic. She became a friend of mine. She invited me to Guadalajara. She works at the university there. She invited me for breakfast and lunch to Tlaquepaque, and we went to Tonalá after, and Guadalajara also used the railway system. So I thought above ground and below ground, so I thought it would be a good idea, and I posted some videos about 1.5 years ago about using the subway system, how you can get around on the rail system, tour buses. Their viewers and subscribers have used or saw those videos and also started doing it, and they've done it, and they found a lot of fun doing it. Now, you can get around to a lot of different towns and in central taxis. It's pretty easy, inexpensive. I go there, I make friends. I have Mexican residents as friends from Guadalajara. It opens up so many doors. Visiting the place, traveling, things like that. There's cultural events. I go to cultural events. I go to museums. I go to art galleries. I go to get something to eat, cafes, just all around. Attend events there, and I really love it there. Coffee shops, central, all over Tlaquepaque. And although I didn't shoot any videos in Tonalá, I did go to Tonalá before. You can do that. Big shopping district there as well. Now, I haven't visited Zapopan or Jacotepec yet, but those are on my list. But I've done videos. You can get around there. And the central Guadalajara. I've walked around and did night videos there. Showed you guys where hotels are, the Doubletree Hotel, Hotel One. People are watching these videos. And by the way, I've got now currently 320,000 views to this channel. So a lot of people are watching these videos. I was even told by a YouTuber that they've seen these videos about traveling to Guadalajara. There's hotels. Now, I haven't stayed in any of the hotels, but I do narrative videos there. It's a great place to be. Just learn a few words in Spanish, some minor communication, to communicate a little bit. I've done videos communicating with holding a 5-minute conversation with the taxi driver. I did a video of that. But you can still get around. You don't have to. I'm not fluent. I made a lot of progress. I've taken 4 classes in Spanish. If you want to, you go to the lakeside area. There's a lot of classes available. I mentioned that in other videos. But you can still get around Guadalajara. I have a friend today I was texting with. She's a graduate music student from Guadalajara University. You'll make friends, but you don't have to know Spanish perfectly. For those who haven't taken any classes or anything, just learn a few key words and phrases. I'll share some with you. If you come to the lakeside area and you see me, I'll share tips and more than I mentioned already. I can tell you about travel. Also, for those, you can use these tips and learn certain strategies that I've learned from my experience, how to get around to all the lakeside towns, even Jacotepec, and across the lake. I've been towns there, and I have driven people across the lake. I drove a guy named Derek recently, and he doesn't know any Spanish, but I helped him out, and he went to Mazamitla and spent a weekend or 3 days in Mazamitla. So you can learn this stuff pretty easy. Don't get discouraged. You don't have to be fluent. I'm not fluent, although I do hold conversational Spanish at a certain level. It's opened up a lot of doors. For me, you don't have to take Spanish classes. I know people, they take their I've taken Duolingo too, but when people use their phones or their Google translators and they practice the conversation before they actually have the conversation with someone, that'll help them. But do they remember it all later? I don't know. Would help to follow up or with some Spanish classes if they want to remember, practicing. So just remember, you can do it. You can do it. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know it all. Just do it and get out there and enjoy those towns and those cities. And once again, you can use these tips I will give you, and you can use these in the lakeside area and travel all over the towns there. And once again, Mazamitla too. You can get out there. Beautiful Pueblo Magico there as well. And different Jacotepec, different places. So I put up quite a few videos traveling in subways, tour buses, and show people how to use those things. And a lot of people have followed through. Even a YouTuber told me that they followed through with this, using these tips. So with that, I can show you where hotels are. Now, I don't know where or tell you about hotels. I did do some walk videos in Guadalajara recently, some newer ones, and I did 2 narratives. And I did some walk videos at night. You can even go there at night. It's great. But a lot of people are seeing my videos, and once again, I just recently got 320,000 views, not subscribers, but 320,000 views. So people are watching these videos. I'm really happy to give people information to help them out. If you see me in Lakeside, I can tell you more about travel in Guadalajara, whether it's on the tour buses, the subways, rails, direct buses, airports, Ubers. I recently bought a car in Guadalajara. Went over there and bought a car, and picked it up on my own. Signed the final paperwork on my own. But I did have some help with the previous paperwork. But the final set of paperwork where I picked up my car, I had to pick it up. I signed that alone and everything went well. But once again, when I went there to buy the car, I had help. So with that, thanks for viewing. Tap on that notification bell. You'll be notified of upcoming videos. Adios, amigos, from the suburb of Detroit up here in Michigan. See you soon.